So people wanted to know what I think about the Atlanta race. Well, obviously, with my work schedule, I kind of missed a good chunk of the race. Actually, I got home like a little bit past halfway, so I got to see like 45% of it, somewhat. And then I got to read up and heard what like the first half was, and there was a big wreck on lap 2, which isn't good. That really set the tone for the race, and then there was some cautions here and there in stage 1, and then stage 2 looked like to probably be the best part of the race because it went green for a long time, and Atlanta has aged in a way where, like, handling somewhat matters. Dare I say, more to an extent than Daytona Talladega, which is really strange because that track's only 2 years old, yet the track has aged more than Talladega that was repaved in the fall of 2006, which is now 17 years ago. Actually, going to be 18 years ago now. And then Daytona, which was paved in 2011, so that's 13 years. So that's weird. But the track hasn't aged enough to where you need tires. There's a lot of people still not taking tires, which that could be either just the mix, the compound of the freaking tires. I don't know. But still weird. But yeah, stage 2 is probably the best part of the race. And unfortunately, I wasn't really there to see it. But a long green flag run, that's all I need to know. That it was probably good. So yeah. There was also a moment in the race that was really strange because there was like wrecks during pit cycle, and they just didn't throw out the yellow, which is stupid. Don't really agree with that. They did a whole bunch of dumb stuff over the weekend where they let a driver race in a truck series without brakes. Talk about being dangerous. And NASCAR's like, oh, we want to worry about safety, yet we reconfigured Atlanta to literally be more dangerous because more crashing. So that's funny they did that, and then they let someone race on track with no brakes. So that's kind of ridiculous. That's a whole other tangent, but yeah, the actual then we get into stage 3, and it just kind of evolves into just stupidity, which is up until literally the last lap, it was just shit show, and nothing really much good beyond it. Though the opinion of the public is very drastically swayed because of that finish, which, yes, my cold dead heart can even admit that was fucking awesome. Cannot deny that. But it took like 28, 29 cars being damaged. How many cars even made it to the finish without having damage? There was like 5 apparently. I thought it was, at first they said 7, then it was like 5. So I don't even know what the actual number is, but it's a super crazy low number. So we basically had shit show. Nice stretch of green flag run for, I don't know, maybe it was 80 laps. I don't know. Good. There was a chunk of it that was good. And then we just like shit show until like the last lap. Which, yeah. So I do think it's going to be a case of the general public freaking out, rightfully so. But I do think judgment's going to be clouded. Just be careful what you wish for. This is where context matters. This was a perfect storm of events for how that ending played out and how badass that was. But this should not be the answer to every mile and a half. Like Las Vegas, no. Let's not try to make Vegas into Atlanta. Let's not have Texas be Atlanta. That reconfiguring it into a mile and a half should not be the answer to all these problems. Atlanta did not need to be the Frankenstein monster that it is. And even then, Frankenstein did have moments of being a good person. You ever see that second Frankenstein movie, I think, or the first one, where Frankenstein was like being nice to a kid and threw it into a lake thinking like, oh, it can swim like a duck or something, and then it ended up drowning. It was like, oh, well, he was trying to be nice, and then it ended up being it didn't need to be like that. But I will say, that last lap, it was good. Though, I mean, it's like surviving like a nuclear explosion because we had to get through so much trash just to get to something good. But at what cost? The poor teams like exploded.
Golf Kid 100 led me to do this.
That's gonna be awkward for the race review. I should have disabled the alerts just for that moment, but you know what? It's okay. Thank you for the 2. That's a first. That's never happened. Breaking new ground. So yeah, it's kind of a weird feeling. Like I can feel good about the finish, but I can't just take that moment and just think that the rest of the race was amazing. I mean, there's certain chunks of it where it's like I can appreciate it, And maybe in like 5 years, we'll get something kind of almost completely unknown to what a traditional super speedway is at the rate that it's going. But then again, it's gonna be like, is that what they really wanted with this Atlanta? So I'm even more confused. So I don't know. But point is, it is nice to just have a race just end. For context sake, I think all of Speed Weeks, there was a wreck that ended under caution at Daytona. There was no race that just ended right the line. Thank you for the membership, or thank you for gifting the membership. I have to update that now. It went to Jackalope Bombard. So it's kind of a mixed feeling type of thing with the race, because I can acknowledge the fact that the finish was awesome, but I can't just ignore everything else about it. And the only positive is it did end under green. That's also a plus. Even if the finish was just nothing, it would have been literally better than Daytona. That's how the low the bar was set for the last multiple weeks. Trucks was just very average, below average. Xfinity was like a 1.5 out of 10. But then the ending got stupid because everybody ran out of fuel, so it bumped it up to a 2. That was just hot garbage, like, for most of it. And then the Cup race had moments of being fine, but I think the narrative's getting swung too hard. People are just thinking that this is like, the whole race was amazing. This is the answer, and I think it's going to be a case of be careful what you freaking wish for. People were fanboying. They were sipping hard for the 2018 All-Star race, and then look what happened. Because of the crazy positive feedback with that race, including just, I mean, do I really have to name call? I mean, really, you could just use your imagination of the people that were going crazy over this. But it led to NASCAR going with a 550 horsepower package, which for 3 years, except for like short tracks, the racing was terrible. And that's what we got because fans really wanted that. That they just loved that All-Star so much, it became a thing. NASCAR listened too extremely, and I don't want that to be the case here, where people are freaking out about this race, thinking that this is the answer to all mile and a halves, which again is a whole other tangent, because one, they did this behind Jar's backs. I'm sure teams and owners don't want a track like this where it damages up cars and costs them millions of extra dollars. And for a sport that is so hell-bent on not upping the engines because of cost or whatever, like they're so hell-bent on trying to save money, trying to save costs, yet they add a track to the schedule that encourages more costs and more damages. So I'm confused about that. Their concern for safety is almost non-existent. I mean, we saw that with the truck race where they literally let a guy race on track with no brakes. That is just absolutely just pure regal. I want to say the other word, but we're going to say regal. So what do I even give the race? Probably a 5. Probably a 5 out of 10. That's like maybe my highest rating I've ever given a land, and before then it was like a below, like 4 out of 10. I mean, if we had like the whole race being like stage 2 where it just went green, maybe I would give a little higher rating. But stages break that up. The natural evolution of just the track, I don't know, but it was just fine. But this Atlanta should not be the answer to all mile high. Like, we should, the narrative shouldn't be when we go to Vegas, oh, I wish Vegas was like Atlanta. Or, oh, I wish Kansas was like Atlanta. No. We're going to be going into, like, nuclear territory, because then we're going to be going into, like... We see the point standings the first 2 weeks. It's like a complete, like, mishmash, garbledy junk of just randomness. I'm so drained. I'm so tired of frickin' super speedway racing. We've had this for, 6 races now? Between all 3 series. It's exhausting. So, thank God it's over. It's stupid they even did this in the first place. But whatever. We got through it. We're on the Vegas to a better track that should probably produce a better product. Maybe not the better finish. And this race is almost an exact opposite of Daytona, where Daytona was like amazing, and then it just like shit the bed at the end, which I don't even want to get into the freaking more confusion of, NASCAR said this caution light ended the race, but then we see the Alex Bowman shot. Well, that caution light is different from this caution light that NASCAR showed, so now we're going to have to like, now we're even more confused on like what caution light determines the end of the race. That is just this whole other freaking nightmare of just confusion that I'm never going to understand. Because NASCAR showed this. That was the end. Okay. But then Bowman's caution light that we saw in his onboard, it's a nightmare. So thank God we didn't get something like that. But Atlanta was almost the opposite in a weird way. At least we got the exciting finish, but some other, well, I guess it's technically a little better than Daytona because like there was like I don't know. I'm just glad that we got out of there with a good finish, and we got out of there with Suarez winning. But at the same time, it's like at what cost? We destroyed like almost every car in the field. So was it really worth it for a good finish? I don't know. It might have saved Suarez's ride. As long as he runs like top 16 in points and just straight up like deserves to be in it instead of just the win guaranteeing him a spot in, then I think he probably deserves that ride, and I hope he does. Because I think Suarez is talented enough. He just gets shit luck. So hopefully that this win does something for him. I'm more happy for that. So I don't know. That's my 5-6 minute tangent. I don't know what more to really say. It was above. It was average. It was a serviceable race. I still wish we could have just got Atlanta just repaved, and then have the track age in the way that's been, and throw the Gen 7 cars. Like that would have been probably fucking amazing. The only thing we probably wouldn't have got is the likelihood of a photo finish in the manner it did. But I would much rather take just a rock solid race, like all around from beginning to end. Like I don't want the bar to be just like the real life Atlanta race where it's like downhill, oh it's going back up, and then it's like, why am I going with graphs lately? I just keep using graphs as a comparison, but it's like I don't want a race where it's just like, oh well it starts really bad so it's going downhill, it's like oh it's going back up, oh no it's going back downhill, it's all bad, oh no it's really good because the finish was great. Like I don't want. Why can't we just have a race where it just naturally escalates, just keeps getting better and better, and then it peaks. I don't want a crescendo of just. I don't want a Richter scale like this in my race. I wish it was just. I don't know. I don't know what really more to say. It was. I'm just glad we got out of there. I'm just looking forward to Vegas. That's my thoughts. Surprised that we've been doing a video. I wasn't even going to do a video unless something interesting happened. And by golly gee, we got a shockingly good finish. So, thumbs up to that. But at what cost? We destroyed like every car in the field. And I don't know. Does the finish justify the destruction that we had? Maybe to some people it does. I don't know. Maybe if I was like 10 years old, I would probably say yes. But probably not. Thinking about all the logistics of everything now. I don't know. But I do feel good about it to some extent. Like, my heart isn't that cold-hearted, so I don't know. But that's my thoughts. I'm done.